All right, good morning. It's Thursday, June 16th. We're halfway through the month, the beautiful month of June. It is 4 minutes before the open. We're watching the S&P 500 E-mini. Hopefully you can hear me okay. And I'm going to drag up in the chart here, or drag up in the screen, our 15-minute and 5-minute. So this is the overnight session, everything that's in gray. This is where we were yesterday. We're significantly lower now. Remove that. The red and the yellow, the red and the green denote overnight high and low. So this is the 15-minute. Looking like there might be some kind of something doing maybe around this area, 04. We're definitely going to let the markets shake out a bit, play out, let them set up, show us what they want to do. Here's a look at the daily chart. Let me drag this one into our screen. So here's the daily. Here's yesterday. Big whips back and forth based on what the Fed had to say, raising the interest rate, or raising something, right? The rate, raising the rate by 0.75%, biggest raise in 30 years. So again, I don't know what that means. I mean, I do know what it means, but as far as tradability, I'm just going to trade what I see. So back and forth, up and down, just a doji day. And so now we're opening right down here, like 37.09. Looks like, I mean, we're just a minute or two away, but so it more than likely looks like it will be a gap day lower. So we'll see what the market wants to do, if it wants to gap and then continue just pushing down, or if it wants to gap, push lower, and then retrace and try to test some of the highs, maybe back around like the 30s, the 40s, and higher. So, and then these lines here, I might get rid of these. I'll just have like a mental note. But yesterday I was talking about 37.90. These were yellow. I changed them to a different color. 90 to about 70 being that range that we found ourselves in. Then the market just went all nuts once the Fed announcement came out. You can see here just massive moves. So, and I wasn't trading that like I always do. This is the hour chart. Let me pull up the 15-minute. There we go. So that's that. And we'll watch and see what we do here. 36.96. I had 36.85 as a level as well. But we'll just be patient, let the market set up. We'll remind ourselves that we can and will have a winning performance every day. We're going to define a winning performance as just watching and observing, just being an observer and a student of the market. Not fearing that we're going to miss the move. Like, moves come and go. Sometimes we get in them, sometimes we don't. So not having fear of missing out. And then finally, we're just going to execute with stops and targets in place. Forgot to pull my hair, brush it this morning. So here we go, about 50 seconds away. So, interesting markets for sure. Let's see, remove all this stuff. Remove, click, try, set, there we go. Yes, let's clear that guy, cool. All right, no, I guess there was news this morning at 7:30. Housing starts, jobless claims, Philadelphia Fed. Housing starts, I think, was from back in May, though. So with interest rates significantly rising, like any of that new data, we're not going to see that. I'm going to pull up the NASDAQ real quick, see what we're trading at on that guy. hanging out. Might watch that level. So it kind of lines up with, lines up with 80. And we'll mark the first minute of trade. We just refer to this as the opening range. First minute, high and low. Again, just like I've been saying all week, there's such a gap that this looks like, some insignificant movement down here, but in actuality, well, let's see. Actually, that's not much, but there's a gap here, so it's going to be hard to kind of gauge the relative size of the moves that we see here. Here's the 15-minute again. It's going to do a little drawing. Again, I'm not a big drawer, but sometimes I like to put some things on the chart. So there's like overnight price action at this, and then what I did on the other chart was did the this is regular time frame, like regular trading hours. These two puts us down to a little bit lower on that one. We'll see what it does on the, yeah, that's not it. Looks different on different charts. Yeah, that gets us to the 3880s, that guy right there. All right, so we'll remove that. Remove this other one. All right. So where's the market going today? What's it gonna do? What opportunities is it going to offer to us? Will there be a lot? Will there be a little? Will they come soon? Will they come late? It's good questions to ask. We gonna try to make a guess right away? Or we're gonna sit back and wait? I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna sit back and wait. So another analogy that I'll use often, and forgive me for the redundancy, but it helps me to talk and process a bit. But watching the market set up, to me, there's many things you can relate it to, but one that's helped me as of late has been thinking about watching a sketch artist draw something. And at first, all the lines that you see, they may not make sense. It might just be a bunch of random lines where you think, man, I don't know what the heck this guy's drawn. And maybe you watch for 5 minutes, maybe you watch for an hour, maybe you watch for 2 hours, maybe 15 minutes. And at some point, more than likely, you'll probably be able to tell what they're drawing. Oh, it's a picture of a meadow. Oh no, that's a ski boat. Oh, it's a picture of Mount Everest. So at some point, those lines that mean nothing to you are going to crystallize. They'll, your perception of it will change, and you'll be able to see what he's actually drawing, what his intention was. And I feel like it's similar with the market, where, okay, we're 5 minutes in. It's a Thursday after a big announcement with the FOMC yesterday, and we're looking at this, and might be looking thinking, boy, this doesn't make sense to me. I don't see. Well, we'll give it time. We'll let the market set up. We'll kind of look for some points of potential support or resistance. And from there, as we wait and give it some time, we will probably have a better idea of, one, what we're looking for, and then two, how we want to trade it. And sometimes that's 5 minutes in. Sometimes there's a level that we might be trading at, and we've got a good idea what we want to do early on. Other times, we might have to wait a half hour or an hour or even longer. I would like to personally, have times where there have been days before where I've sat for 3-4 hours and haven't made a trade just because I didn't see anything that I was that strongly convicted about. Now that I'm doing this video where I want to watch my playback and analyze trades that I do, I feel at times a little bit more compelled to take action, which I don't think that's always, I know it's not always a good thing. So that's something for me to be mindful of. But yeah, that's my little analogy regarding letting things set up. So in my mind, well, it's interesting here. It looks so different on this chart because we don't see the gap, whereas on this one we do. So it looks much smaller on here. 15-minute on the right, the shaded area is the overnight session. We've got the 5-minute regular trading hours on the right. Sorry, left. This is left. This is right. So shaded area is overnight session. To me, right where our opening range was, looks like from 03 to about 09. A little bit of stuff going on here. I think the bigger area would be like this 03 to call it like 14. Something like that. $14. Yeah. Oops, meant to put a line there. Oh, it's not an exact science, but there's definitely some artisticness to it. I would not consider myself artistic at all. However, when it comes to trading, there is kind of a science, right? But it's not all science. Like there's definitely an art to it. There's definitely some nuance. Let's edit this. We'll make this one yellow. That to me is an important area. So really, I feel like the bottom of the opening range, 03 to about 14, could be significant. Watch and see what it does here. It took out the overnight low, but we're still just hanging out under it. Potential for decent sized movements today. Usually gap day is like on a gap day. So gap day, what I mean is that we've opened, this is a true gap where, darn it, sorry, let me adjust this. We've opened and we're outside of yesterday's trading range. It's a gap day, open lower, right? Yesterday we opened, well, it wasn't a gap. I'll talk about other like not a true gap sometime later when the market slows down a bit. Maybe once I'm in a trade and got some good wiggle room and like a runner on when I can look at some stuff in a different way. So here's our 1 minute. Again, it's hard to see just because of the big gap right here. I'm not getting a whole bunch of context from that. All right, so earlier I talked about the 80s, not the years, but the levels. It was a few days ago. I was talking about like 80 to 85. We're gonna watch and see what it does here at these levels. Let's draw that little line. Something like that. I'm gonna look at my daily, refer back to that. Gotta go way back though. I know I was pulling up those levels just the other day. All right, so we're here at 90, 85. $83. Who knows, maybe I've been waiting one of these days for like a 1030 reversal where we get a good drive down and then a nice big spike higher. Right now in the 5 minute, we're just lower, lower, lower. Two solid strong bars just down to the downside. let this guy set up. Just taking a look over at NASDAQ. Big gap down as well. Let's see where we're trading at there. I gotta. All right. Let's go back to ES. Get rid of this guy. Whoops. Remove. Here's our 15-minute. Open. Sold it pretty hard. On these big gap days or big movement days, I like when we put in a little bit more data on the 1 minute so I can get a little bit more context for smaller moves. Okay, so we tagged 85. I'm not jumping in front of this thing. That was the level I was talking about earlier, a few days ago. Different though on a day where it's different, like, because today we've gapped down, we're way down here. And that's something that just comes with time too, like the nuance of looking at a market where you open a lot higher, you come down, and then you're looking for a retrace, like a pullback. So if it were 2 days ago and we got down to 85, I would have been excited and looking to do something around here. And it still may be that I will. Maybe I see a setup in a little bit, but at this point where we're at, there's no need to be fighting City Hall. Wonder if my buddy Brendan is short. Sometimes he'll look for 2 bear bars on the 5 minute. Just get involved on the open of that third bear bar. Sometimes he'll look for the measured move down, so he'd probably be looking for, I don't know exactly, but probably at least 15 points on this one. Let's see. Wonder how some of the big tech names are doing. I know they've just gotten slaughtered, but I wonder if they're getting close to any kind of a buying point. I probably ought to pull it up, but I used to have a conglomeration of the top 6 stocks in NASDAQ. It's like Amazon, Apple, Google, Facebook, Tesla, and one of the other big ones. And I'd look at that chart, and sometimes you get some insight looking at that, like where it might be bottoming out, where buyers might be stepping in. Get back to MES here. Pretty big reversal bar there. Again, context isn't great because it's all this stuff kind of muddied out. So here's our 15-minute. See if it holds here. See if it holds and pushes higher, or if it gets rejected and continues lower. 82, 96. Big pop. We'll watch it here at this opening range area. I'm not involved yet, I haven't done anything. Getting some good volatility. 84. So yeah, this is a minute. This is a 10-point move. Seen a lot of those lately though. Last like week and a half. Here's our 15. So the charts I watch are the daily for context, the 15-minute chart for context, and then the 5-minute and the 1-minute. 1 minute gives me some nuance around certain areas that I like to trade at. So I mentioned before, some guys will play. I don't take it much. Some guys will play the opening range pull retest. So again, opening range is the orange lines that I've drawn here. Just the first minute of the day's price action. They'll look for a push lower or higher, but they'll look for a push lower, and then they'll look to have it come up, and they sell it here. And I figure their stops would be either here or like at the high of the day. So they'd come up here, they'd look to sell it. And then as far as where you take profit, I'd be taking some at 90, maybe leave a run around against this level now, and then see if we can't come down to 80s and retest and maybe even new lows of the day. Same would work for a long. So if the market instead this morning, if we came up, pushed higher, and it retested that opening range, there's people who will get long there with their stop, with their stop somewhere below the bottom, the other side of it, and then look to get long and then see if they can't ride it up. Opening range retest. Today, looking decent. You're 10 points to the good so far in that trade. Pretty big rejection so far in the 15 minute, but things can change quickly. So once we get some more data in here, I'll kind of tighten this up a bit so we're only looking at this. Let's see if they hold this area. See if they hold it and then run it, or what we're doing here. Alrighty. No news out. I mean, like no news is upcoming. Check here. Yeah, so we had, I guess, 3 big numbers at 7:30. I don't know if it did anything at 7:30. Let's see. A little bit of a spike at 7:30, then it pulled back. So here's the 15-minute like overnight session. So this was at 7:30. Came up, but I mean, big sell-off. Wham, all night long. 38.30. We're here, 150 points lower, really. Right here, bumping the 80s, low 80s. No, the high 80s, but. So that was that. Came up. That retest is working nicely. Opening range retest. And we'll see if we get some continuation and follow through. Let's see if I got any other thoughts worth talking about. Well, with this, I think it's important to be process-oriented, not outcome-oriented. So focus on the process. Was I following the process well versus the outcome? You manage the process and you manage yourself. I think everything else will fall into place. Well, some days by now I would have seen a trade, and other days not. I trade the first 2 hours of the day, most days, sometimes a little bit longer. That's interesting too. Again, I don't mark up my charts a bunch, but I know I drew this line earlier for the overnight, wondering if we held that. I don't know, you never know. But that line kind of corresponds, well, it does correspond with that opening range low. So might have been an even better reason to take the opening range retest. That's interesting. It's pretty cool. We'll see how the 1 minute looked there. Write that down. So yeah, just made a note with that for the opening range retest. Again, I'll pull this chart up and you see better here. The push down, pull up, shorting it here, and then looking for it to come down. I usually don't take that trade. I will every now and then if it makes sense to me. This morning we're so low and we're gapping. So I don't know. You never know on a trade, but didn't have a lot of strong conviction to get short here. But notice that line that I drew earlier, this little trend line, that it kind of coincided with that as well. So just made a note of that in looking for opening range retest trades in the future, look for like either a significant fib level and or something like a trend line. Might be a good setup to consider that. All right, so let's see here on the 1 minute. Now my battle zones, as mentioned earlier, I think is 14. Not in a hurry just yet to do anything. Anyone else this morning taking any trades? Bueller? Bueller. Anyone else done anything? Oh, I can't wait to get fiber internet. Like living in the Stone Age here. Living in the late 90s as far as internet speed. Like the last in the city, the great metroplex of Springfield, Missouri, but last in the area in our little region right near the downtown spot to get fiber. Even people like 3 blocks from me, they got it. It's great. It's glorious. But this guy doesn't have it. It's all good. Pardon me. So once you take your mind off the goal, or once you take your mind off the score and focus on the process of performing well, you are dealing with something you alone can control. So we've got to remember that we can't control what the market does. We can't force our hand. The more rigid that we are, the more that we're just going to fight and buck against the market. The more that we're going to see that with every movement, with every new minute bar, with every new whatever bar, whatever time frame, we're going to feel, or there's a tendency to feel a charge with it emotionally. Whereas the market is simply neutral. It's just doing what it was made to do. And so, it was page 48. So the process of how we trade is what we can control. We can't control if there's a black swan event. We can't control if there's a flash crash. We can't control if the market goes in our favor 100 points in the blink of an eye. But we can control the process that we follow. So again, it goes back to thinking and remembering that we can and will have a winning performance every single day. Just defining that winning performance is simply watching and observing, like letting the market set up, letting the market show you through nuance, through what it wants to do, what it's seeking to do. Asking yourself, what's the market doing, and is it doing a good job of doing it? And then after that, not fearing that you'll miss the trade. So it's easy because there are times when the market moves quickly. I can't imagine for someone who's new to trading watching the market yesterday afternoon, like after the Fed gave their delivery, because there's so much movement and there's so much opportunity, but there's so much risk because the moves can be so big back and forth, and that can charge us emotionally, thinking, man, look at all this, like fortunes have been made in the last 5 minutes and I'm here sitting on my hands, sitting on the sidelines, just hanging tight. Fair enough, but if we don't have a process to trade that kind of market, then we have no business being in it. Then the last part of just defining having a winning performance every single day is simply placing our trades, knowing where we're right, but I think even more importantly, knowing where we're wrong. So when we place a trade, many people, when they start out, they don't have the intent. If you think that you could be wrong, why would you place a trade to begin with, right? You only place a trade because you think, you have the assumption, I'm right. Well, if we're technical traders, which I would guess that most people watching and myself are, we have to know structurally what has to happen on the structure of this thing for me to be proved that I'm wrong, like that my thesis was not correct. And so that would be indicative of where our stop needs to be placed. So those three things, I can and will have a winning performance every day, and talks about focusing on the process. So many great notes in here. Another thing is write out how far you've come as a trader. Maybe you're not successful yet. Maybe you're not like making a lot of money or as much as you want, or maybe you're losing money. Maybe you're bleeding. But think about the first week that you started, the first month that you started. You didn't know what the heck was up or down. This is just gibberish. Oh, there's great potential. I'll make some money. But now hopefully you're at a point where you're deciphering moves. You're more patient. You're sitting back. You're waiting. So remind yourself of like where you've come from on this journey. It's helpful. There was something else I was going to share. I was talking about that, but I forget what it was now. Let me scroll back on the daily and look for, certainly in a downtrend, let's look for some other areas that might. So yeah, good opening range retest, short there. there's that. So the question is, this is the 15 minute on this chart, by the way. Do we hug it, just ride it lower? Do we pierce it and then come back up and retrace? Don't know. Not sure yet. I might have an idea or a thesis at some point. But as of now, I don't know. And it's okay to not know. It's okay to just sit back and wait. Especially a day like today. I would think, more than likely, there should be some good opportunity today. It's a gap day. But we just don't know. Some days are just filled with opportunity. I think it was Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday for me. A lot of great opportunity. Had 6 trades. Got stopped out on 2 with like very tight losses. The other 4 were profitable. Let the winners run. A lot of opportunity. And was trading, I think I was involved within like the first 10 or 15 minutes of the day. What the market was doing on that day to me just made more sense. I had a clearer gauge of what I was looking for and how to read it. Today, I can see we're going lower. But for my style of trading, I don't have any strong opinion or conviction just yet as to what trade I would like to take. We'll remind ourselves too that anything can happen and something will happen. Oh, Tech, that's a great one. Gold Fever. Hey, good job, you two. That's awesome. 37 hundo. That was a great. Yeah, that's a good move down. Well done. So again, that's one. Tech, you mentioned shorting 3,700 earlier. Were you looking for what was your conviction that got you into that one? Because for myself, I've mentioned that some guys, and I don't do it often, will take the opening range retest. I had that little trend line that I drew as well and thought, oh, okay, there's a little bit of confluence there. That's interesting. And then I'm wondering if you were looking at something on your 9 SMA or something like that, or if it was more of just an opening range retest for you. So yeah, I'd be curious whenever you got time to share your thoughts on getting short at 3,700. Just another reason why I think there's like strength in numbers, right? Whenever there's a level, the more confluence you have for that level, I think the stronger the move could be. So maybe there's guys who trade off of VWAP, and which that's an important indicator as well, if you ask me. Volume weighted average price. So maybe VWAP came up to this level, and those guys got short. There's other guys who look for opening range retests. There's other guys who look at trend lines. Maybe Tech 111 is looking at the 9 SMA crossover. You get all those lining up, and you figure, okay, let's get short somewhere around this area. We're wrong above either here or here, and go with it. That's a lot of things lining up. There's a trade that I really like. I call it, what's my name for that guy? I've got a few different names, so I got a lot of different names. But it deals with the market pulling half back. It's like half back confluence, where usually a big spike up, the market pulls halfway back, and it's in line with like VWAP. Sometimes it's in line with like somewhere of the opening range, or it might be an overnight level. And on those, when I've got 3 lining up, it gives me good conviction that I want to get involved at this level. Price action as SMA was way far away. Gotcha. Cool. Tech, when you got your SMA, are you letting it run like? Are you looking at the overnight session as well? Because I know, whoops, I exited the wrong screen there. I know if we keep up the overnight versus just the regular trading hours, the SMA will look different, right? So like from way up here, it will, come way down to kind of correct itself versus in the overnight session, it might be a little bit more smooth or vice versa. But good trade, good, quick 10 points. I like it. Well done. $36.83 is trying there. There's one setup I might name tightrope. Not short rope, not Jeffrey Epstein. Tightrope. Where we're coming down to some important areas. The 5 minutes just, although again, the context on this is a little hard to see. We kind of get in a channel, right? Channel coming down. We're selling off, and then we get a really good pop on that pop, looking for a pullback and then going with it. But if I see it, I'll mention it. I'll make it known. Just something that's in the lab, getting worked on. Dr. Data. Put this dude over here. So if you're wondering what we're looking at the 15-minute here. Shaded area is the overnight session. We've got the 5-minute on this side. Usually I look at it a lot more tighter, but we've had such a big gap down that it looks a little different. So 5-minute, 15-minute. Usually the chart that I have on my screen is the 1 minute and the 15-minute here. Micah, what's up, Micah? Yeah, man, I'm no guru or master, but I'm happy to share my thoughts and walk through what I'm thinking. I just, as I mentioned before, I've started this to just watch playback for my own trades and learn from it. Kind of like how football players, basketball players, any kind of professional sports person will watch playback and tape of their performance. It's been helpful for me to have it here on YouTube and then watch what I'm doing. Watch what I'm strong at, watch what I'm weak at, watch my tendencies. So feel free to join and have fun watching. Yeah, that's a nice. I'm looking at your trade tech. That's a nice nice one there. Didn't take much heat. Got out of it quickly. Weren't shaken out by this here. Just in, out, done. Like it. In, out, done. All right, so we're getting a little bit more data now to where I can, again, usually I show a lot more of the screen, but with the big gap, it just looks a little bit different. Wondering today what we're going to do. Wondering if it's similar to Tuesday's price action where we'd come up, fail, go down a little bit lower. Come up, fail, go down a little bit lower. Come up to a similar area, fail, go down a little bit lower even still. Like looking at the 5-minute. Because we're just, that's some pretty big resistance up here above. But just a thought, just don't have a strong thesis yet. I personally have not taken any trades yet. No, I don't. I've done it in the past, Micah, the TPO charting. So I'm very familiar with market profile, with, point of controls, initial balance, all that stuff. What do they call it? Like the single prints. That's great stuff. A lot of guys trade off of that. For me, I've found that less is more. So when I trade, most days I'm just watching the market from 8:30 to 10:30 when I'm fresh, when I feel I'm most objective. Not to say that there's not good trades that happen later in the day, but for me, there's a lot of good action that happens earlier. Some days a lot more than others. I was just saying that Tuesday, by now I already had like 3 or 4 trades that worked out well. 3 out of the 4 were winners. I finished up with 6 trades total within the first 2 hours. A lot of opportunity for me. Today, it's just a little bit different. So every day is different. But no, TPO, it's good stuff. I personally just I don't watch it. I get a little bit of analysis paralysis for myself with that. I just watch the daily for context, the 15-minute, 5-minute, and 1-minute. That's it. Well, welcome, man. Glad you're here. Yeah, hey, that's a great one too, Gold Fever. Glad you did that one. Gold Fever, what was it that you were seeing when you took that trade? When you shorted 95 3/4? Wonder if it was here that you did it or there. That would have been a nice one. So well done. Maybe the better question, Gold Fever and Tech, for the trades you guys took, you were short. Tech, you were short at 3,700. Gold Fever, you were short at 95 3/4. Where would price have had to have gone for you to know that you were wrong? So it's pretty much in line with where was your stop, but where would it have been? Where would it have to go for you to tell that you were wrong? Tech, I would think for you it'd be either here or here. Gold Fever, I would think for you it'd be probably above this print, definitely above this area right here. So it's good to know. All right, so a few days ago we mentioned that we were talking about 3720, 3700, and then 3685. So here we are. $37.03. Yeah, that's great, Gold Fever. Great risk management. I like it. Just a little bit above that one. Right off of that. Well done. Good job, man. Good on you. 5 points above. I didn't know that, Tech. I'm just getting to know you. Virtually. Virtually, that is. But I learned something about Tech today, that he likes tight stops. Well done. So Tech was short at 3,700. He was wrong 5 points above. That's a good 2-to-1 risk reward. So middle of that opening range. Very nice. I like it. Yeah, sometimes I like wide stops. Sometimes that's not a good thing. Just being facetious. All right, let's watch 15-minute here. See if we firm up at all. All right, I'm gonna stop looking at the chatter. Let's see if we get any decent price action here now. Time to get serious. T is stuck. There we go. We'll watch and see if it holds 84. If it pulls back to here. We'll pull up NASDAQ real quick. It's sold off so hard. So much lower. I'll know it when I see it. Not a lot just yet for me. Nothing that I'm too excited about. Look at this guy now. Let me pull up a 5. So here's the 5-minute. It's interesting. Here's the 15 that I mentioned earlier. Drew that one earlier. So we're getting a little bit of a pop there. And everyone's style is different. Everyone's style is different. Someone's trading style might be very different from someone else's. $15-minute now, it's above its other. We got another 2.5 minutes till we put a new 15-minute bar here. Oops, I don't want that. Exit out of that. So we've come up, poked above that. Held the low here. Let's see what kind of price action we've got here. I'm going to expand this out a little bit now. Okay. Sorry I keep going back and forth. It's just because of that big gap. I want to get a little bit more context for what the heck I'm looking at. A downward channel there. I found for myself too, personally, that I would not consider myself a verbal processor, but boy, it's been very helpful to talk to audibly. Well, I guess when you talk, it's always audible, but to audibly listen to what I'm saying regarding what I'm seeing in the market, what makes sense, what doesn't. It's been very helpful. Let's see what bar we're at here. 1, 2, 3. see what the opening range retest guys do if we get up to here. We'll see if they defend it, bring it back down, or if it takes them out and we go up a bit higher. Opening range retest, boys. So for me, this paints a little bit clearer picture. Since there's no break in the action, since we're looking at overnight here, this is 15-minute here. So here was that little area of congestion. We hung out here. I don't know how much volume was put in here, but we hung out here from 3:30 to about 7. So 3 hours or so. Spent some time here. But again, I think the more important issue is how much volume did we put in here. So the TPO charts would be good indicators of the volume that was put in. Because now we're in the regular trading hours where there's much more volume. Let's see. Yeah. So we could come up and blast right through. I don't think so. Never know. Anyone else take any trades? I know we got tech and gold fever prospecting. We got short up above earlier, up around these levels here. Well done. Both got out for 10 points. Anyone else do anything? Yeah, Mike, we gotta ask ourselves, even based on the tempo of the day, like based on the tempo and the structure of what I'm seeing, sometimes a 2-point stop is too little, which I would argue in these markets is definitely too little depending on what you're doing. But again, sometimes a 2-point, we'll just use a 5-point stop. Sometimes a 5-point stop may be more than enough. Other times a 10-point stop might not even be enough to what you need. So depending on the tempo of the market, of how quickly it's moving, how erratic it is, I really am a firm believer that stops should be placed at a structural level, where we know the market, if it gets to my stop, it's proving to me, it's showing me that I was wrong, that the thesis I have was incorrect, that the probability on that time it didn't happen, I'm wrong, it's getting me out, it's protecting me. So structurally, when we get in a trade, we need to know and ask ourselves, where am I wrong? Like if this thing doesn't work out, where would it be proving that I'm not in the right? All right, so a little pullback test to 84 there on this guy. Looking a little strong. Still haven't done anything yet. 9:33, we're an hour in. I got about another hour to watch here. Sometimes you never know. Sometimes you gotta, like, you get an idea, you see it, you gotta wait several minutes or a half hour to let it set up. Other times there's a quick move and it's more of a gut feel based on just immediate data that you're seeing that the market generates. So I said, let's look at VWAP here and see where it was. Nope, not even close. $76 to 90 something. So again, it's a gap day. Potential for bigger moves. Haven't filled the gap. See if we push through. Sorry, my. You know what? Here, let me try to change my setup here. Application settings, account, system. Look and feel. Maybe it's under that dark small. Let's try this. So change the look a little bit. Maybe you can see it a little bit better over here. So 84. Well, I feel like it's not gonna hold. I don't know. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. But I feel like that level is kind of important for what's going on. This guy over just a little bit more. There we go. All right, getting a little bit more data now. Again, not a bunch. I still like it usually a bit smaller than that. 84 is the level. We'll see if it holds or if it fails. I am neither long nor short. So what is the market trying to do, and is it doing a good job? What's it trying to do? I'm not asking that to you guys. You can certainly chime in, but that's just a question I'll think in my head that I'll ask myself. 36.92 says Micah, I just shorted. Where are you wrong, Micah? Where you're right, where you're wrong. Are you still in? I know where I'd be. If I was short 92, I know where I'd be wrong. I know where I'd be right. I know I would have. I'll let you manage it. I don't want to chime in too much. You do you. Or if I'm talking too much, just mute me or turn me off. Do your own thing. It's best to trade your style. I did mention earlier the strength in numbers though, because if you're trading your style and you're long or short at a certain level and you like it for one reason and another guy likes it for another reason, and then maybe another guy likes that for another reason, all looking at different things, I feel like it could add some strength to, you could, feel like, okay, this is one that I really want to get involved and stick with and stay the course with this one. Very good. 90. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, man. I was thinking 98. At least looking at the 1 minute. Thinking if I'm short 92, I'd be wrong at 98. Awesome. Are you one and done, like you all in, all out, or you scale it? All in, all out. What's your target then? Where are you going to pay yourself? And if you don't know, that's cool. Just trying to looking at this, that looks funky. Oh, there it is. That's why. This one looks a little odd. See what happens at daily low. I like it. Hey, good plan, man. It's good to have a plan. All right, so we got the 15-minute down, up, down, up, down. The question here is, do we push lower? Do we retrace a little bit and then push lower? Do we push right through it? Do we hold, come up? Anything can happen and something will happen. All right, Micah, there you go. Putting in new lows. Be great to see just continue lower. That'd be awesome. Great, man. Good deal. C, yep. C period, what are we, 12 minutes in the C period? There we go. Let's see if we can do the 15. There we go. That helps. I like that price action for I mean, if you're short on the 15, how it's just putting in new lows, staying below that 36.84. That's good. I'm going to pull up NASDAQ real quick. NASDAQ really Just selling off too. Well, I personally have not done anything today, but we've had a few guys in here who have had some really nice trades. Mike is in one right now, 36.92. He's short from there, still holding. Well done, man. Good discipline on your part. Now I don't have a target. Well, when I trade, I always scale out. So, and my time frame is usually a bit shorter. So, I would have scaled some at 84. I would have scaled some at the low of the day or close to it, like right around this area. I mean, the thing's working out. It's in your favor. I don't know if you hold trades usually for 10 minutes or for 4 hours. So that's something that I've been working on as well. Like, what is my time? Obviously, what's my target? But then what's my time frame? It's clear to see that we're definitely in a bearish mode right here. The trade's working out well for you. I don't know. So by now I would have scaled out a pretty good amount of it, and I'd still be holding a runner to see what it would give me. Anyone else have any thoughts as far as like a target he should be looking for? I know I was looking at 50 earlier, 36.50s. Again, whether we get there or not, I don't know. Sorry, I don't have a good target just because, like, for me, looking at the daily, unless you're looking at stuff like measured move, which that's good to look at as well. But on the daily, we got to go back like 2 years until we got anything to the left down in this area. But if we look at like a measured move, I'm usually not a measured move kind of a guy, but let's see. Oops. Oh, I wonder if that pullback was halfback. That could have been. So yeah, if you got any kind of target for Micah, chime in. Let us know. Ooh, that was a nice one. That was halfback right there. So down, up to halfback, and then slammed it lower. Yeah, that's a great trade, Micah. 92, you're wrong above 98. Worked out, didn't take any heat on it. Remove, let's see here, initial one. Parabolic SAR exit indicator to trail stops. That's what Gold Fever says. But yeah, it's working out in your favor, man. It's working really well. Well done. Let me look at this one here. Put my studies up. Let's see. Load study set. Let's see if I can move up on this one. Oh man, looks like such a lag. Sorry about that. Yeah, my internet here isn't the greatest. Just don't have a lot of good options. Well, I apologize that I haven't really given much guidance today. I personally myself have not taken any trades. It's clear that we're in a downward trend. I just haven't been involved. So not a whole bunch for me to commentate on. That one for Micah is still working out really nice. So well done, guys. Good job. We broke that 84 level. There we go, right there. Nice clean break, and then just pushing down. Still pushing 5 minute here, like. So I got the 15. Oops. Here's the 5. Here's the 15 up and then down. I guess this would be getting kind of close to the measured move now if we look at like from here to here and then here to there. Not to say they can't just go way lower. Yeah, here's the 5 minute. So just been bearish for the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles. No green, just all red. Now we got the 1 minute here and the 15 minute here. Bias always messes up your trades. Hard to take shorts with the huge gap above it. Yeah. Yeah, it's good to. It's okay to. I believe it. Like it's okay to have conviction. It's great to have a thesis, but it's good to be flexible and dynamic as well, and to know that anything can happen and something will happen. So I better protect myself. I better know my targets and my areas. So whether you're long or short, hey, that's great. God bless you. I hope you kill it on that trade. But if you don't, protect yourself. Or if you're in it, protect yourself. Know where you're right. Know where you're wrong. And understand, that you're biased, that we can be wrong. Our bias can be incorrect. A lot of times I'm just, by nature, I'm more of an outside-in type trader where I look for an extreme top or an extreme bottom, looking to fade it and then pull back in. Whereas truthfully, I think like going with a trend, it feels so just natural and easy, but for some reason I just buck against it. I'm always looking for best, lowest price, lowest tick. Caught the top yesterday, which felt nice. wrote it down. Tech, you were on that one too. Had a nice trade involved. You held yours really well as well. 36.62. Hey, great trade, man. Well done. 30 points. I like it. Good management. Good job. I love it, man. That's awesome, dude. Like, that excites me. That's cool. Super cool. It's gonna. Oh, let me take a peek here at some other stuff. FedEx had that big pop the other day. Was it 200 a few days ago? Popped way up to 240. I've got puts in that I've sold. I got puts at 175, and then others at I think 200. But interesting. Might sell some more here if we put another down day in or fill the gap lower. Sell some at maybe 200 again or 205. Also got some Starbucks sitting there. Sorry, I just need to take a little break from watching the market here. And I'll come back to it in just a second. All right, back to ES. All right, so 15. Still very bearish. 58, got a 10-point pop here. Up, down, all around, 958. So it's 10 in the morning, got another minute and a half till we get a new 5-minute bar, new 15-minute bar. Well, Micah, great book, man. I highly recommend it. I don't know if you can see it well. Let me pull up my thing where I can see what you're seeing. This one right here. With Winning in Mind. Bassham, I think his name is. Fantastic book. So good. He just talks about following our process well. Being focused on the process, not the outcome. Right? So like on that one, the process was, I get in, I'm short at 92. I feel I'd be wrong above 98. That's where my stop is. You knew what you were looking for with the TPO charts, looking at the C period, looking for a break below, saying, and I'm asking you, saying, well, we'll look and see what it does at the low of the day. You did, you held it, you were patient, got out at a great price. Now, from here, the market could either go way up, or it could go down another 50 points from here. And at that point, you might be tempted to think, dang it, like, why didn't I hold on to that thing? Why didn't I let it run? Well, you didn't because you don't know, right? Like Mark Douglas, the master of psychology as it relates to trading, tells us that anything can happen and something will happen, right? So we don't know. if this is the bottom now, and then it goes back up to here, it's easy, like, hey, pat yourself in the back. Man, I'm the master. I got that one. Well done. But no, I feel like that trade was managed really well. But more importantly, win or lose, even if that was a loser, if you got stopped out on that and allowed yourself to get stopped out and not fight what the market was doing, you followed the process well. So well done, man. Getting some good action here at 60. Just pull up NASDAQ real quick. There's the overshoot. I'm still not involved for today. Still haven't done anything. Little boring for me right now. But I'm not here to be entertained. I'm not here to have adrenaline just like coursing through my veins. I worked with a professional trader a year ago, and he would often talk. I mean, a lot of trades lasted. I think his average trade was like 5 minutes. He's been a professional for 20 years, and he too says, I'm working on holding my trades longer. And he would talk about so many people really believe, or they succumb to the fact that, man, if I'm a trader, like, I got to be making moves. I got to be working. And he said there's nothing wrong with, if you're not seeing anything, if you're just not comfortable, if you're a little conflicted with sitting on your hands and just waiting. So that was like reassuring and just comforting, I suppose, to hear that from a guy who's a pro, who really knows what he's doing. He was actually the one who started Market Delta, if you've ever heard of them. They were the ones who, I think, copyrighted and then invented the footprint chart, where it's showing the delta of each bar, like aggressive sellers versus aggressive buyers. Just a great guy. Learned a lot from him. Good trader. So yeah, he might sit, and there were times where we'd watch the market from the open until about 11:30 Central. Then we'd come back and watch it from 1:30 to close, and all that time, 4.5 hours. His average trade, he was in it 5.5, 6 minutes. So he probably had, the average day, he might have 15, 16 minutes, maybe 20 minutes where he's actually in a trade. Some days he'd be in several. He'd have 4 or 5 or 6. Other days he might have 1. Some days he might even not take any. So it was a good lesson. Good insight I got from him. Anybody else seen anything or taken any trades? Any other thoughts? More of a kind of a chatting session for myself. Anyone do anything yesterday after FOMC? Did you make a boatload? Did you lose it all? Did you load the boat? I was not trading that. I typically don't trade in the afternoons. Oh boy. I do apologize if my internet's going in and out on you guys. Wonder, Jan, are you with us? Jan R. in Ecuador? Nada, says Gold Fever. Nada. Micah, a good question to ask you. You're out at 62. Was there a it would have been from a long time ago. Was there a naked POC or singles or anything looking way back on TPO charts? Or were you just watching like a 5-minute chart, a 1 minute? Were you thinking, 30 points, that's what I like, that's good, I'll take it, I'm out, I want to pay myself on this trade? What was your, how'd you come to the decision of 62? Was it just like, okay, we're here, we're putting in some dojis? I don't know if you're watching the 1 minute, maybe you're not, but yeah, why'd you choose that level? I like it. That's a great level. Great level. 30 points. Cool, man. Love it. Good job, Micah. Awesome. Very good. It's fighting 70. Let's see if we get above it. Next level, I feel, would be like, where are we at there? Certainly 84, I believe. It's got some green bars on the 5-minute now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. $58, $68, $78, $90. Long at 73. Cool. Brackets like a stop and a target, you mean? Yeah, a lot of times I don't have a hard stop. So yeah, I usually don't use brackets. I don't have a hard stop, but I'll have a very protective stop. If things get kind of nuts on me, and then a target area. I don't have a target. Like I have one in my head, but I don't have one that's just like sitting out there as a limit order. And every trade's different too. Some I'll give it more wiggle room, and others I won't. So there are some where I'll get in a trade, I'll have a hard stop at a definitive level. I know I'm wrong there. Others, like yesterday, I was getting short, pretty close to the high of the day. Didn't have a hard stop in. Well, I didn't at first, and then I did, just depending on like market movement and action. So, yes and no. Clear as mud. You're welcome. Get what you pay for. Oh, come on. Keep looking for that one. Let's see here. Let's see what we're doing. 80. Good deal, Gold Fever. So came up to that. I know I mentioned 84 earlier. Let's see what it does there. Let's look at that level again. Out at 82. Cool. Hey, good job. Good job, man. Quick in and outy. $50, $60, $70. So this is one for me that could be setting up as one that I call a spike trend pullback. We had this one a few days ago. I watched the 5-minute bar for this one. I'll let you know if and when I get involved. Good management there, Gold Fever. Good job. I like that. 82. Out. So what was our levels? 84. Got a little rejection up there. Back here at that. All right, Micah, 36.82. That's cool. Got another minute till we see the 5-minute bar close. Here's our 15 in the darker area. This is the regular trading hours, RTH. Gray area, that's overnight session. Overnight sesh. Another thing that I quickly realized working with that professional trader last year is that after the first few days, I was like, man, this guy, he doesn't have a crystal ball. Like, he doesn't know any more than I do. If he really didn't. And that's not to take away from him. I just realized that he is an excellent manager of risk. Excellent. So that was a big takeaway. Watching him trade, watching him get into setups. Again, he'd have losers just the same like he'd have winners. And he didn't know one way or the other. You know, every trade, you're sticking your neck out there. It's a probability game. But the thing that he did do, like a professional, was manage risk. Like a pro. 10:20. I'm gonna be packing up here pretty soon. Still looking for an opportunity to do something that I have a strong conviction about. Hats off to you guys who shorted earlier and then got long. I know Gold Fever just recently got long, took a nice little profit there. Micah got short at 82, so good involvement. Good job. Me too, Tech. Yep. Here's why. Looking at the 5-minute, came up here. This wick, looking to see if we don't squeeze them a bit higher. 15-minute, I think, would be a good indicator. I've got kind of like a, I don't know if it's a wedge or what, but it's come down up here. So another half minute till we get a new 5-minute bar. You involved anywhere, Tech, or just looking for that squeeze? So bulls want to see it hold the recent low on the 5-minute, which is right around 37.62.5. Bulls want to see it hold that level. Bears probably want to see it stay below like 36.85. NASDAQ real quick. That's not NASDAQ. Here's NASDAQ. Create alert. $81.5. Good job. Another minute and a half till we get a new 5-minute bar. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. I see this like little congestion area here on the 1 minute. Came up. Mentioned that short squeeze potentially. I thought we could, looking at the 5-minute chart. Came up, pulled back into here, and then up. Good trade. All right, another 45 seconds, so we do 5-minute bar. Pretty big wick, the 5 minutes putting in now. Unfortunately, I'm going to be wrapping up soon. Good trade, good management. Good job. Alright, so bulls popped above like that 85 level, 84. Bears, again, they want it below 72. I'm going to be cutting out here soon. We're done. Haven't taken a single trade today. Not that there hasn't been opportunity, there certainly has. Trend days for me, if I don't get on it early, they can cut me up pretty good. Not to say that there's not opportunity. There was great opportunity today. A lot of guys here had great trades, which is awesome. Mike, I'll be wrapping up here in just a few minutes. I just do this for like the first 2 hours. So, hey, have a good workout. Enjoy the gym. Enjoy. I don't know if I'll be back tomorrow. We're going up to Chicago, and we might leave here around noon. We might leave at 6 in the morning. So, if I don't see it tomorrow, I'll see it Tuesday. I won't be in front of the screens Tuesday either. But thanks for joining, Micah. It's good to have you. I'm in Missouri, Springfield, Missouri. I'm from Chicago suburbs originally, though, Lansing, Illinois. Right on the border of Indiana. It's 30 minutes south of downtown Chicago, 30 minutes south of the Loop. But I've been here in Missouri for quite a while now, since '04. Went down to Texas. We were there for 3 years, from 16 to 19, and then came back to Springfield here in August of 19. Yeah, I love Chicago. I love Chicago in the summertime, man. It's great. Thought about going to see a game at Wrigley with the family on Monday. I think there's a game there. My brother lives in the city. The rest of my family's in the suburbs. Other brothers and kids. My sister and her kids too. But yeah, Chicago's cool. We're at Michigan, Micah. Kalamazoo. Cool. Kalamazoo. I'll be back in just a second, and I'm gonna wrap up.